If you are going through perimenopausal or menopausal symptoms, you may have been told that bioidentical hormones are the way to help fix your symptoms. Symptoms like weight gain, insomnia, anxiety, hot flashes, night sweats, all the things that we deal with in our 40s and 50s. In this video, I'm going to give you my perspective on bioidentical hormones. If you have not hit the subscribe button yet, go ahead and do that to be notified anytime I post new content, new videos all about holistic health and women's hormones. So many women come to me, you guys, in their 40s and 50s dealing with all the symptoms I mentioned above, all the annoying stuff with hormones, and they want a more natural approach to dealing with this. Maybe they've been told that hormones are their only option. Maybe they don't know about the safety or effectiveness of them. There's many different things that women have been told about hormones, and I have helped so many women in their 40s and 50s find natural approaches to help deal with these symptoms in a safe way that they feel good about. Have you been told to take hormone replacement therapy, or are you currently on it? Is it helping you? I'd love to know in the comments, so comment below, let us know. Okay, so I want to preface this video with saying that I'm not an MD, I am an acupuncturist and a women's hormone expert, and I help women find natural solutions and approaches to all of these hormone issues that they might be having. So I am not also against hormone replacement therapy, as I think it can actually be super life-saving for some women who really do need this. Our women in our early 30s and 40s who have hysterectomies and full complete hysterectomies may benefit greatly from being on some estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, things like that can help them feel better. And also, you guys, we forget to talk about this, but hormones actually are super helpful for other things other than reproduction and our periods or cycles. Estrogen, for example, helps protect our bones against things like osteoporosis and osteopenia later on in life, protects our heart, protects our brain, protects lots of other things besides just helping us to conceive babies and do some of the things that we commonly think of estrogen as doing. So I'm not against hormone replacement therapy, but I want to give you my perspective on it because I also think that there's some things to do first before just jumping on hormone replacement therapy as sort of this like magical remedy or magical pill, cream, pellet. There's all kinds of different ways to do it. But I think that there's some things that we should try first. So number one thing to do when you're considering doing hormone replacement therapy is test. I think that it's super helpful to know exactly where your hormones are at and figure out exactly what's going on. I've had so many women who have sort of multiple symptoms. Some of them are low estrogen symptoms and some of them are high estrogen symptoms. And actually adding in some estrogen would maybe not be super beneficial or even helpful for them, and maybe even increase their risks of things like blood clots, heart disease, different risk factors, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, things like that we can experience through taking estrogen. And so if you are considering this, I do want you to know the risks that these things are possible. I want you to talk to your doctor about it or your practitioner. Make sure that you're not a person at higher risk for these types of things if you're considering taking hormone replacement therapy. I also, once we get the testing back, I also really recommend starting with some natural things first. So if you're dealing with, any sort of hormone imbalances, really focusing in on the lifestyle factors. So I have what's called the 5 pillars to hormone health, which starts with mindset, stress management, self-care, all of the mind-body connection stuff that we talk about so much. So we know that cortisol, adrenaline, and insulin play huge roles in all of our hormones. So I've talked about this a lot, but if we think about our hormones in sort of a pyramid way, the bottom layer of this pyramid is going to be those 3 hormones. So insulin, cortisol, and adrenaline. So if cortisol's off all the time, your stress hormones are a mess, you are constantly putting pressure on yourself, you're overwhelmed all the time, running with your head chopped off, your sex hormones are going to be depleted quicker than they maybe should otherwise be, and even in our 40s and 50s. So the first thing to do is to really work on managing the stress, changing our mindset, working with a mind-body practitioner that knows how to do this. I just actually got off the phone with a patient right before this video that she's a nurse. She's going through a pandemic right now. Obviously, work is super, super stressful for her right now. And we have been working with her on stress management, the shoulds of life, perfectionism, putting pressure on herself, all of these different things. And she's telling me how much better she's sleeping, how much better her appetite is, how much better emotional eating is, how much better her stress level is, her fatigue. All of these things are the mind-body connection. So we really want to start there and make sure that we aren't exacerbating any of it by our thoughts and this mind-body connection. So that's number one. Number two is nutrition. We know we are what we eat. We know that our food is where we get our nutrients, minerals, all of these things from, which are imperative to hormone health. So many women out there are actually dealing with mineral deficiencies and imbalances, and not that can be like the sole treatment for a lot of women in their hormone imbalances is actually just replenishing their minerals. So we really want to focus in on our nutrition. Again, that bottom of the pyramid, insulin is on the bottom there, which is your blood sugar. So making sure that your blood sugar is balanced, you're eating that protein, fat, and fiber at each meal, keeping that super stable. Otherwise, you can also experience things like hot flashes and night sweats due to blood sugar dysregulation, as well as cortisol, which we know. So you want to make sure that nutrition's on there too. The third is exercise. You want to make sure that we're moving our body in a way that supports our hormones. And for everyone, that's a little bit different. I encourage strength training. It's super helpful for increasing testosterone, especially if you get those big muscle groups in there. It's helpful for, balancing insulin out, helping your cortisol levels, stress management, all of those different things, as long as we don't over exercise. So too much cardio, too many HIIT workouts, too much sweating, too much activity in general can actually start to deplete our hormones a little bit and encourage cortisol to kind of go too high. So we want to make sure that we're moving our body in a way that supports our hormones and feels good to our body. The fourth thing is sleep. We talked about sleep in another video about low progesterone, and sleep's imperative, you guys. We got to make sure that we are sleeping regularly to reset our systems, rejuvenate, balance our hormones, produce human growth hormone, detox our liver. All of these things happen when we are sleeping at night. So sleep is imperative. And then lastly, you guys, we can use supplements, vitamins, and herbs to really help support everything that we're doing here. So like I said, a lot of women are actually just dealing with mineral deficiencies, and replenishing our minerals will be enough to help them significantly. There are other herbs and supplements and things like that we can use to really get these symptoms like hot flashes, night sweats, weight gain, insomnia, anxiety, all of these various menopausal, perimenopausal symptoms under control, instead of first just going to hormone replacement therapy. I did a video on boosting your low progesterone, which I mentioned earlier, but in that video, I also talk about two different supplements that I really like, chasteberry berry and vitamin E, to really work on your progesterone level as well. If you do decide to go on hormone replacement therapy, I have a few caveats for you. Please make sure that you're working with a practitioner that knows exactly what they're doing. Make sure you're working with one that uses bioidentical hormones. Bioidentical hormones look exactly like our body's own hormones. There's synthetic hormones out there, and then there's bioidentical. Bioidentical look more like our own natural hormones, and so our body processes them better, and they have less side effects. So that's number one. And make sure that you're working with a practitioner that's going to test your hormones. You don't just want to be blindly adding in these dosages of hormones without actually getting them tested very regularly. I have seen patients of mine come to me taking testosterone pellets or estrogen replacement therapy or even progesterone that have like 10 times the level that women should have, and they're having all kinds of side effects of it, and their practitioners just keep inserting the pellet or keep prescribing them more of these hormones. So that's not necessarily a great thing, I don't think. And so you want your practitioner to be keeping an eye on things, looking at things in a holistic way, listening to you, letting you be validated, because so many women also experience side effects of these, and then they're not validated. Their practitioner's like, I don't think that is what's causing any of your issues, when in fact it is. They feel much better getting off of them. So it's not that hormone replacement therapy is bad. It can be immensely, immensely helpful for so many women, especially our women out there who had hysterectomies in their early, 30s, 40s, even early 50s. It can be really helpful, but you just want to make sure that you're doing it in a safe and effective way with a practitioner who's super knowledgeable about these things. And lastly, my caveat here is, before you jump on to hormone replacement therapy, my opinion is, let's try some things first. Let's go through those 5 pillars of health and healthy hormones that I talked about. Let's try some acupuncture. Let's try some different herbal remedies. Let's figure out if we can really holistically get this under control instead of just adding in extra hormones. Because in my opinion, especially in our 40s, we got to ask ourselves why. I'm always asking myself, if a woman in their 40s comes to me and has low testosterone, low DHEA, low progesterone, low estrogen, I'm constantly like, okay, well, why do you have low levels of those? What's actually going on here? Are you under eating, chronic dieting, too stressed? Do you have some other kind of condition going on? Is there something from the connection from your brain to your ovaries or adrenal glands? What is actually happening here? And I refer to various practitioners for that and really figure out the exact root cause so that we can figure out what else is going on. And I think that that's a much more holistic way to treat women versus just throwing in hormone replacement therapy. If you need more ideas for healthy habits relating to your hormones, I have a free guide for you called 6 Evidence-Based Daily Habits for Healthy Hormones. You can download this at allydamron.com/habits, totally free, and gives you so many more ideas than I am able to cover in these videos. And plus you'll be print and you can just use it as a reference guide. If you have not subscribed to this channel yet, click the subscribe button. You'll be notified anytime I post new content relating to women's health, holistic health, hormones, mindset, all the things we cover here on this channel.